Hey, what's up, good people? How you doing? Welcome to Stock Up with Larry Jones. We got stocks with Josh in the house. It's a wedding celebration.
Yep, my daughter Lene is married a gentleman named Clancy Bond, which means she's now Mrs. Bond. And you know, Larry and I on YouTube, we teach and we talk about financial education and looking for generational wealth. And it's really for days like this, Larry.
Yes.
When you get to celebrate friendships and family.
Yes.
And you know, we would say obviously that there's a greater wealth than greenbacks, which tend to get inflated.
Yes.
And you know, they lose value.
They lose value.
But if you put wealth into friendships like Larry and I's,
yes,
and all the family that's here celebrating
yes,
with me.
in this 12,000 square foot home.
Yep, when you put your wealth there, then you have something of real value. That's what we're enjoying today.
We are enjoying relationships. It is just a beautiful celebration. Let's get into the market for a minute.
I got a lot of thoughts on the market.
And you know, you guys, it's Sunday, so I always end with something inspirational. This is going to be hilarious to some of you guys of why I'm upset at Josh got me out here. But I'm going to talk about that in a minute, what happened yesterday, all right? Let's get into the market for a minute. Okay, you go ahead.
Well, I just want to say that, you know, there's the thought that April is typically a good month for the market.
Right.
77% of the time, the month ends higher than it began. But, and Larry and I, we don't always disagree on the markets.
Yes.
But I'll tell you right now that the market's been pushing up. And I'm looking at stocks like Apple and Tesla and a lot of other companies that are really getting to the top of their range.
Yes.
And so the question we have to ask ourselves is if Apple tops off at $168, almost practically, you know, getting up there where it's all-time highs, do we believe that in April, Larry, it's
Yes.
going to push even higher?
Yeah, even companies like NVIDIA. I'm going to post a chart of Tesla.
NVIDIA's blowing my mind with its movement.
And even Bitcoin. We're going to just look at where they are just year to date. And you're going, this is insane. Now, some believe that the first quarter is indicative of how the year is going to be, right? But we also, you've heard, sell in May and go away.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
So just
Yeah,
talk
well,
about that.
and you know, I mean, on the tail end of it, obviously you got the month of June, which is historically one of the worst months in the year. We know that whatever the Fed's going to do, the market probably hasn't priced it in. There's a lot of analysts who believe that the Fed should be cutting at the next rate hike session.
Yes.
But I'll be honest with you, I think the best case scenario would be that he does not raise rates, but it is even possible he would raise again, Larry.
It is possible.
And so I would say that there's a disalignment between the market and the Fed right now that perhaps is coming to a head and is going to come to a head in May, which means that we could have a really tough moment moving into summer, moving into June. And when you stop, if you really understand what I'm trying to lay down, guys, is if we're up at $168, $169 on Apple, believe me when I tell you that we are overbought and at the top of the range.
We have to understand what's going on with the Fed. The Fed is not going to go up 50 basis points, I don't think, from here on out. Maybe 25 more basis points. We don't know if the market is going to handle that. You see the Fed going up on interest rates
At all.
it actually caused as a stress test for the banks. So the Fed did not make the banks weak. It exposed the weakness of the banks,
Yep.
right? And we see the collapse, right? If the Fed continues to raise interest rates, there's going to be another major shoe falling in the banking that could cause a even
Can I give
bigger
a very
collapse.
important statistic?
Yes.
I wanted to talk about this on my show. I'm going to just talk about it on Larry's show. It's that 10% of the banks in the United States right now have a larger degree of loss than SVB did. So just so you guys can understand that, 10% of all banks are in a worse position
Than
than
SVB.
SVB.
Yes.
So what does that tell you?
Yes, and it is a collapse. So when the politicians keep telling you everything is fine, it's stable, $100 billion gone, and they're saying it's stable, okay, who's going to cut the check? You and I will. That's the Fed does not have, they can't create new
No.
wealth. They can keep printing money, money becomes worthless. Now you have countries that are saying we're getting away from fiat currency. We're not even, and that's difficult. That's a whole nother video.
Yeah.
But it is very serious, and we don't want to be overly bearish, because look at what happened to the stock market Friday. Friday, a lot of times in an environment like this, it sells off. It went green. The market is like a bull that cannot be stopped. The market wants to run so bad, right? But Josh, I'm gonna ask you.
I want to get. Well, go ahead, Larry.
Could this be the ultimate bear market bull trap?
So basically, are the bears going to get trapped when we get to the top of the range?
Yes.
And the market decides to just take off like a rocket?
Yes.
You know, I would say,
or the market decides to drop like a rock.
Then it would be a bull trap.
A bull trap is what
a
I
bull
meant
trap.
to say. Yes.
Well, I'll tell you this. So this is what I believe, and I hope that I can articulate this well to everybody. Okay.
And I'm going to see if I agree with you.
The bottom line is this, that the market is not going to crash or go down. And by crash, I don't mean pull back a little bit, pull back to 3,900 or 4,000. I'm talking get down to 3,600 in a couple days. The market's not going to capitulate or crash until we get an event that is significant, which would look like more bank failures or a simple credit crunch, right? The majority of banks, the regional banks are the ones that loan to small business. And a lot of people don't realize that it's the small businesses that employ the most people in America.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether Google, Amazon, or Apple want to lay people off. They say we're going to lay 10,000 off.
Right.
The real hit to unemployment is going to happen when the regional banks begin to implode and stop lending.
Right.
Now, when we see that type of activity, that's when we're going to get the capitulation. But the problem is, Larry, that right now, even though we're having a little bit of fractures,
Right.
we haven't had a break yet. And the markets are going to keep climbing
Yeah.
until we get the break moment, which we don't have yet.
I agree with that. And I always talk about still caution. That does not mean that it's going to be a straight bull run up now. It does not mean that we're clear. As a matter of fact, long term, we still are in danger of a deeper recession.
Absolutely.
Long term, meaning
it's inevitable.
It's inevitable, right? And when I mean long term, I mean within the next 9 months.
Yeah.
Within the next 7 months.
I would say going into I think it's
Yeah.
more than likely 2024.
Right. Here's what I think is going to happen, and I've been consistent at saying this. I believe that the Fed will move to neutral this summer, right? Whatever month that is. But then I believe, even though there's talk that is never going to happen, I absolutely believe that the Fed will be doing a reversal by Q4, meaning of this year. That's my bold prediction. I stand alone on that. I believe that the Fed will start reversing. I believe he's going to be forced to start reversing, because if he keeps going up, the banks are going to suffer, and then we will have a major leg down. That's me. What do you think is going to happen?
I completely agree with you. I think the market seems to believe that the Fed is going to cut in Q3, Larry.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, I think the bottom line is, I don't think the Fed is going to cut until something breaks.
It will, but he will be cutting this year.
I agree
He
with you
keeps
100%.
saying it's not going to happen.
I think it's impossible.
He's going to cut this year.
It's impossible for him not to cut this year from what I see right now in the market.
So let me. Usually it's Sunday, good people, but I go into something very inspirational. But I'm going to tell y'all why I'm mad at this guy right here. All right, so y'all know I'm from Chicago, and as you can see, I'm an African American, right? I'm covered with the blackness, okay? So we in a hotel yesterday, and I haven't seen him yet. So I'm in a hotel with my buddy Ron Lewis and some other buddies and my wife. And the freaking ground starts shaking violently. I'm on the 4th floor. I'm going, what the heck is happening? So my wife, trying to be cute, she's still sashaying to the room like I gotta put on makeup. And I go, the ground is shaking. And I'm going, what the heck is going on? Now, you know, I'm from West Side Chicago. If you got a gun, I got a bigger gun. You wanna fight? I can fight back. But what am I supposed to do when the ground is shaking, good people? I don't do ground shaking. Y'all can have California is what I'm saying. I will take the cold weather Chicago. Y'all can have this with the ground shaking stuff. And then this lady comes from around the corner. I guess because she heard something screaming high pitch. That was me. And then I'm going, she said, are you okay? I said, lady, if you don't start running, screaming, what do you mean? She said, oh, it's just an earthquake. Are you kidding me? Just an earthquake? I said, I said this. Lady, I'm from Chicago. We don't just have an earthquake. The ground is shaking. Then this gentleman older gentleman gets on the elevator as we're going down, which I probably should have got on the elevator because I want to get out of the building at this point. I'm at the ceiling looking for stress cracks. He goes, oh yeah, it's probably I've been here for 47 years. It's probably going to be aftershocks. I said, mister, don't come on here talking about no aftershock. It'll probably be about 3 o'clock. I said, mister, please, look, I'm going to get my black, y'all know what, out of this building at this point right now. I'm thinking these people crazy. Then I go across the street to a convenience store because I'm trying to get away from the building. And these young people just, can I serve you? I said, oh, so y'all just gonna just serve me like y'all didn't feel the ground shaking? I said, so y'all don't feel the ground shaking? Man, it's some bull, man.
You know, they're used to everything over here in California, the fires, the mudslides.
Y'all
people
crazy.
be sipping tea while the next door, house is on fire. I mean, California, beautiful place to live, but they gotten used to the problems in California.
I had high blood pressure. I went to sleep with all my clothes on, good people, because I wanted to get out.
I was joking. I said, tonight, I said, Larry, when you and Holly go to bed tonight, Holly gonna turn around in the bed and you're gonna be like, it's happening again. And you're gonna shoot right out the door of the hotel.
It's the big one.
It's the big one coming.
The big one, honey.
They got him triggered over here, guys.
Well, y'all go ahead and laugh at that. Y'all laugh all you want to, but I don't do snakes and I don't do the ground shaking. Those two things I don't do. I'll handle everything else. I'm cool.
Larry, thank you for being at the wedding. I appreciate it.
Man, this has been a pleasure. You care if I share some pictures?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm going to share a couple of pictures I took at the end of this beautiful wedding. Friendships are everything, and if I would say anything positive to you guys is go see about your family, go see about your friends, go see about your loved ones, and keep your relationships strong.